I want to talk to you about the drafting process for this class. You may have encountered a drafting process that's similar to this before, but you may not have, so I want to go over it. You'll be writing 4 essays for this class, and each essay will have 4 different drafts, okay? And that may seem daunting, but I promise that it's not. So, it's okay. So basically you'll start each essay with a pre-draft. These drafts may look different for everyone. It's basically just ideas on paper. It doesn't even necessarily look like a rough draft or anything like that. It's kind of, it might be an outline, it might be a free write, it might be sort of a list of ideas, a concept map or cluster, where you have, this idea and then this idea in a circle and this idea in a circle and this idea in a circle. Or it might be a partial rough draft. It could really be anything, okay? If you come with ideas on a page, I'm happy. And you'll post pre-drafts to a discussion board so that your peers can comment on your ideas or ask questions to get you to think more about your ideas and get you to expand on those ideas. This is the idea phase of writing. The purpose of this draft is to work on the ideas behind the paper, especially the claim or thesis. A claim is basically what you're trying to say overall. Okay. So, your basic argument, the reason that you're writing this, the purpose behind what you're writing and why it's important and those sorts of things all go into claim. So that's what we're working on with the pre-draft. It's just the big ideas, okay? So it doesn't have to be, a full draft that's polished and proofread. It just needs to be ideas on a page, okay? That can look like anything. So just submit something that we can work with, okay? Then you'll submit your first draft. These drafts should look a little more like an essay. So it should start to look more like what your essay is going to look like, but it can be rough. It doesn't have to be, exactly what you're going to turn in at the end. It can be very rough. It might look very different from your later drafts. It doesn't have to be polished or perfect or even good. A lot of first drafts, most of the time, a large majority of the time, first drafts are not very good. And that's okay. We're not looking for first drafts to be good. We're looking for you to start forming your ideas into sentences and paragraphs. So the purpose of this draft is to continue working on the ideas, of course, but also to work on some of the composition elements of the paper, like evidence and organization. So you'll post the first draft to a discussion board, just like your pre-draft, and you'll get feedback from your peers on this draft. There'll be instructions on how to comment on other people's drafts within each discussion board, so just read the instructions and go from there. And then you'll get to your final-ish draft. These drafts should be as finished and polished as possible. It should not look like either of your previous drafts. It should be as good as you can make it, because you're submitting this directly to me, not to your peers in a discussion board. You're submitting it to me to get my feedback, okay? So you want to get the best feedback possible, and the way to do that is to make sure that I don't have to comment on silly things like, proofreading mistakes and typos and, stuff like that. So make it as good as you possibly can at the time that you're writing it. obviously you haven't gotten feedback from me yet, and so, it's not going to be as good as it possibly can be, but make it as good as it possibly can be before you get my feedback. All right. The purpose of this draft is to get written feedback from me so that you can make any necessary improvements before you turn it in as part of your portfolio. Final drafts, you will only have final drafts of 2 of your essays because the portfolio is going to be a cover letter and 2 essays. Okay, that's all you turn into the committee. So these drafts should be revised with my feedback from the final-ish drafts, and it should be your best draft. Okay, it should be revised, polished, proofread. It should be as close to perfect as you can make it. I'm not asking for perfection. Perfection is not possible in writing, but you want to really make sure that this is your best effort, okay? It should not look the same as your final-ish draft. If you don't use my comments and revise, that's going to affect how the other instructors see your writing, okay? So make sure that you revise it from that final-ish draft. It should not look the same. Make sure you use my feedback and revise it. The purpose of this draft is for evaluation. They will determine your placement next semester, so they should be as good as you can make them, okay? So that's our drafting process. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you later.